Okay, so Mr. Presents. So Sunday came. He's trying to get my apartment number because I didn't give him my apartment number when he came to get me on Saturday. He kind of just had the address, made myself available, and to be seen and everything. Um, then I was just like, why would he do that? Because I told him Thursday. I told him Saturday. We had a long, drawn off talk on Saturday because he basically, what his argument was that he should do what he wants, which, he's also explained to me that a lot of the women that he's come in contact with use him. They basically just, let him take them out on dates, let him just splurge all his money on them, and they know for a fact they're not interested in him at all. And so, I did not want to do that with him especially. I was really just legitimately trying to get to know who he was as a person, but he kind of seemed like he was just throwing his money out because that's honestly, it kind of feels like that's what he's been used to. Instead of an actual woman that's trying to get to know him, he's used to just throwing money on her. Now, if I was a certain type of woman, but that's just not really my style. So, when I talked to him on Sunday, I basically said, we need to talk. It's too much to text. Give me a little bit of time and we'll talk about it. He couldn't wait. He could not wait. I pretty much said to him, I don't think this is really going to work because he's very persistent about getting my apartment number. He's very persistent about sending me a present, which, and you think about it, like what kind of woman doesn't want flowers? What kind of woman doesn't want flowers? And had I felt a certain type of way, I probably would have been a little more open to it, but it was just the matter of the fact of how his persistence was a little, it was a little bit scary, just a little bit borderline. There was a few things that he mentioned that kind of, sometimes when you haven't been in very good relationships, there are things that certain men do that triggers a thought in your head. I ignored those a lot with my last two relationships. And so I'm starting to learn that. Not so much the good quality. I'm talking about just really bona fide bad qualities. One thing that I recall from my ex, he did not like me going out with my friends. He didn't like the fact that I would talk on the phone with my friends. There was going to be, me and my girlfriend's been talking about seeing this movie. And, I told him, I was like, one night we're going to go see, this movie. And he kind of seemed like he just didn't want me to do it. Mind you, we're not in a relationship. This was the first date. And he was already throwing those vibes at me off the bat. There's a difference between somebody caring about you and then someone being controlling. And I kind of got the controlling vibe from him. That was some things that I wanted to discuss with him. That was some things that concerned me about him. So, while I was trying to discuss this with him, I had some other stuff going on in my life. So, of course, I couldn't respond to him as quickly as I could. But I did promise him that was going to be something we discussed. He couldn't wait for me to discuss it with him. So he starts sending back to back to back text messages. Basically like, well, why don't you want me? Why don't you want to be with me? What did I do wrong? Tell me what I did wrong. These are like back to back to back to back to back. So then he, is so bad. Then he, God, it's so bad. Then he proceeds to tell me how I'm just like every other woman who's used him, that's just trying to take his money and trying to do this. And he's like, and then like a few text messages, a few minutes go by and he's like, I just want to let you know that you really broke my heart. We only went on 2 dates. Intuition is a motherfucker. So that's when I was like, okay, well, I didn't make a bad decision in telling him, because I was really going to let him know. And I was really going to let him know nicely. I was going to be respectful to him. I wasn't going to be disrespectful at all, because he hadn't done anything to me. He was nice. It's just some things that just didn't sit well with me at all. And then maybe some minutes go by and he was like, I can't. Basically, it was something along the lines of he was tired of having his heart broken. and that he's just gonna turn gay. So that was interesting. I've had a lot of men, not a lot of men, but I've had men angry at me and upset with me, and they said a lot of things. One thing I have never heard a man say is he's gonna turn gay. That was new, and that was a first for me. And I saw it. I said, "Oh my goodness!" And so, I had other stuff going on that was more important. So 2 or 3 hours passed by, and then he reaches back out to me and tells me that he was just overreacting. He was upset, and that's what he said when he was upset. And I explained to him, I just can't get past that. That's just strange to me. And, I explained to him, I'm not judging you. If you are, that's it. But you really shouldn't be out dating women. Like, that's no. And so then he tells me that he went and talked to his pastor, talked to his friends, and his friends were like, people come into your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, and he took that as his pastor telling him that I'm supposed to be in his life for a lifetime. And I explained to him, I said, lifetime people, they work when both the people want to be in that person's life. I'm not interested in being in your life. He's like, well, what about as a friend? And I was like, I don't listen. I said, the type of person I am is I know what your intentions are, and I know that you're going to want something more. I can't give you that. I cannot give you that. So, me being your friend, that would be wrong for you. Your intentions would be something else, because you'd be waiting around for something that's not going to happen. And I said, the reason why it's not going to happen, I was like, I told you about the present thing. You didn't listen. You seem like, it kind of seemed like he was wanting to move really fast with us knowing each other. And we had only been on 2 dates, and he was trying to steamroll that whole situation. I didn't really like that, because I didn't know anything about him enough to even try to jump into anything with him. And I was trying to learn from my past mistakes. Another thing was the whole wife thing. That didn't sit well with me either. And, the whole outburst via text about turning gay. So, I told him exactly why I was not interested in pursuing him. He called me a cold, heartless bitch, and that I should have told him these things before we went to the Cat Williams concert. And I explained to him, I did not know you. We went on one date. The date was good, and it was good enough to go to the Cat Williams concert. It was actually during the Cat Williams concert, I got to know you a little bit more, and I just did not, I said, the fact that when it was time to go home, you didn't want to take me home. You were driving all around the town. You took the long way home. He's like, well, I was trying to talk to you. I said, yeah, we could have talked on the phone this morning. We could have talked on the phone when I got home. I was tired. I had told you I was tired. You didn't take that in consideration, And so, when I explained to him that that was not something that I would be interested in pursuing a relationship with him, then he was just like, he begged for me to give him another chance. And I'm not talking about just, it was bona fide begging. Then when we established the fact that I was not going to be romantically interested in him, then he decided to go to the aspect of just being friends, which he then proceeded to go along with his second act of begging. After that was established that was not going to happen, he was just like, well, can I pop up and I can call you every once in a while to say hey or hey? No. No. You can't take no for an answer. This is exactly why this is all happening. So we ended the call, and that was the end of him. But it also made me realize that I don't really like being bought. I like to be courted, but I don't like being bought. It was a good little learning lesson for me in that aspect, because someone buys you, or they spend money on you, or they do nice things for you, they just feel like, for some strange reason, some people feel like you're obligated to them, which you're really not. Just something to keep in mind.